The Data Mart interface facilitates data exchange between several SAP BW systems. The system that supplies the data is described as the source SAP BW system. The system that receives the data is the target SAP BW system. The Data Mart interface function can be used to realize the following Data Mart architectures for SAP BW systems.
With the replicating architecture, also known as an inside-out architecture, an SAP BW system provides the source data for updating to other SAP BW systems. The data selected and the specific updates to the target SAP BW systems depend on the requirements of the company concerned.
With an aggregating architecture, also known as outside-in architecture, data is updated from one or more SAP BW systems to a central SAP BW system.
The figure illustrates a possible business scenario. Two SAP BW systems in branch offices 1 and 2 serve as data marts. They transfer selected data to a central SAP BW system. The central SAP BW system transfers replicated data to the regional SAP BW system. The Data Mart architecture described in the figure illustrates the following advantages of the Data Mart interface. By adding several data marts to your system landscape, you can make it easier to set up and implement a data warehouse. Data marts which cover parts of the system landscape can be implemented independently. It is easier to support and maintain each data mart than to do the same for very large systems. You can increase the speed with which data is transferred and the time required for reporting because the data formatting and staging processes are shorter. Data can be divided according to task areas and/or subsidiaries, and you can also perform analyses across the aggregated total data sets. For example, the company headquarters will need consolidated and selected data from the subsidiaries, whereas the subsidiaries only need specific data from the company headquarters. You can implement hub and spoke scenarios by placing an SAP BW system at the center and integrating and homogenizing data from distributed systems. This section lists the steps required for data transfer between SAP BW systems.
When transferring data from export data sources generated for data store objects or info cubes, requests can be used to determine a delta.
The OpenHub destination allows you to distribute data from an SAP Business Warehouse or BW system to non-SAP data marts, analytical applications, and other applications. It allows you to ensure controlled distribution across several systems. The OpenHub destination defines the target to which the data is relayed. SAP BW objects such as info cubes, data store objects or DSOs, or info objects, that is attributes or texts, and info sets can function as OpenHub data sources. Note that data sources may not be used as the source.
The data transfer process is used to write the data from an OpenHub data source to the target table or target file. The following parameters are available for this process.
The OpenHub destination is a separate object in the data warehousing workbench. It contains all the information about the possible export targets such as database table, file, and is structured using info areas. To create an OpenHub destination, to navigate to the maintenance for the destination in the main menu in the data warehousing workbench, choose Modeling, OpenHub Destination. You must specify a technical name, enter a description, and choose a template. The following templates are at your disposal: Data Source, Info Source, Info Cube, Data Store Object, Characteristic Info Object, Multi-Provider. The fields of the template are the basis for the fields of the target object, that is, table or file. The following tab pages are also available for defining the OpenHub destination. Destination, Field Destination. On the Destination tab page, maintain the metadata for the OpenHub destination. Select one of the following destination types: database table, file, third-party tool.
If you choose a database table as the destination, you have the following options.
Instead of a database table, you can also choose a flat file as the OpenHub destination. CSV, ASCII, and XML are supported as file formats during extraction to flat files. This file contains only the actual data, which means that the metadata, that is, information about the fields and the destination, is not stored in this file. To ensure this metadata is also included, the system generates a control file that contains this metadata. The name of the control file is made up of the prefix s_ and the name of the data file. If you choose to store the file on the application server, you can select file name or logical file name in the selection list. File name. The file name is made up of the name of the home directory, that is dir_home in transaction AL11, the technical name of the OpenHub destination, and the suffix .csv. You cannot change this name. The name of the corresponding control file is made up in the same way. Logical file name. You can use the input help to select a logical file name that you have previously defined in customizing, that is, transaction file. A logical file name can be made up of a fixed path or system variables such as date, that is, date according to sy_datum. The latter means that the file can be identified by the date it was created. The concept of logical files has existed for a long time in SAP systems. The transaction for setting up logical files is file. This concept is also used in SAP BW. You can use logical file names in info packages, that is, when you select the application server to load data from flat files to the SAP BW system. Third-party tool. Using this destination, it is possible to access third-party tools and open them using a RFC destination. Use the OpenHub service to extract data to non-SAP systems. Different APIs enable you to connect a third-party tool to the SAP BW system to distribute data to other non-SAP systems.
On the Field Definition tab page, select those info objects for the OpenHub data source that you want to transfer.
If you choose to store the file,
Those info objects for the OpenHub data source that you want to transfer. The available info objects from the template are listed. Depending on the type of data source, the relevant characteristic info objects are identified as key fields. For info cubes, these are the dimension characteristics. For DSOs, these are the key fields. And for master data bearing characteristics, these are the characteristics that form the key for the master data table, that is, attributes or texts. After you have created the metadata for the destination, you must then determine the data flow between the source and destination. This data flow corresponds to the usual flow in SAP BW source transformation target. In this case, the OpenHub destination is the target of the data flow. You can now use the known components of the data flow and can therefore quickly and efficiently build an OpenHub scenario. The OpenHub destination is part of the data flow in SAP BW in the following ways. Using transformations. Links source objects with the OpenHub destination. Includes routines to transform data. Loading the data using data transfer processes. Extraction mode, that is, full, delta. Selection conditions, that is, filter, monitor, integration in process chains. Automation of the data export by scheduling data transfer processes.
to create the data flow, in the Data Warehousing Workbench in the Modeling Functional area, choose OpenHub Destination. To create a transformation or data transfer process, in the Context menu, choose Create Transformation or Create Data Transfer Process.
Within the transformation, you have the option of changing the data in the OpenHub data sources before you transfer it to the destination, such as database table or CSV file. Examples of possible data transformation scenarios include reading texts or converting currency. On the transformation screen, the source fields and their assignment to fields of the OpenHub destination are displayed in the figure. You can now define the details in the rule details. Hint: in the transformation for an OpenHub destination, not all rule types are available for you. Formula, read master data, time conversion, currency, and quantity conversion are not available. To execute the defined data flow, you require another data transfer process. The data transfer process triggers the extraction process and also supports the following: extraction mode, that is, full or delta; selection conditions; monitor. The following extraction mode options are available: full, all data that matches the selection criteria, that is, on the selection tab page for the OpenHub destination, is transferred from the data source to the relevant destination. Delta. In this mode, only those requests that have been added since the last extraction are transferred. For InfoCube data, you must execute the delta extraction before the InfoCube is compressed. An exception to this is if the first delta extraction of a full extraction was not yet carried out. With DSOs, change log requests can be deleted only after the delta extraction, because the change log is the source table for the delta extraction. To select data from the OpenHub source based on the selected fields, choose Filter. You can specify single values or value ranges as restrictions. This allows you to restrict the data volume to be exported. For the extraction of InfoCubes with non-cumulative key figures, extract non-cumulative values by compressing the InfoCube at regular intervals and then extracting the record type 0 RECORDTP with the selection value 1. Using the monitor for the data transfer process, you can check whether the data was successfully extracted to the destination. The same functions as those for the data flow are also available here.
To automate the data export, use a process chain. To do this, include the process step data transfer process in the chain and schedule it.